We're halfway through 2024. Let's take a look at how we're doing on our 2024 real estate predictions. Not so good on some, but good in other areas. But again, before we jump into that, make sure you hit subscribe below to stay on top of all of the latest Huntsville, Alabama real estate news. Let's jump into the first prediction, which was interest rates, which is really going to help drive a lot of the other predictions that we had as well. So the interest rate predictions were really driven by the guidance given by the Fed, which they were saying there's going to be 3 rate cuts in 2024, 4 in 2025, and some additional ones in 2026. That has not happened yet. There are some people that are predicting and thinking that there are going to be some rate cuts by the end of the year, maybe 1 or 2, or potentially none at all. And so with that, we have not had the decrease in mortgage rates that a lot of people expected in 2024. We were predicting around mid-6s for conventional rates. We're really sitting around the 7% range. We've been kind of plus or minus that for the entire year. There's a lot of arguments to be made with election coming up, why, and really inflation starting to come down, why that number or that percentage for the Fed may start to come down and overall 30-year rates start to come down as well. So with that, we're around 7, predicting 6.5 is what our prediction was. I don't think we're going to get to that 6.5%. So we are wrong with that prediction. And I think we will ultimately see something in the high 6s by the end of the year if we get that 1 rate cut. So probably around 6.75 is my revised estimate for around December 2024 interest rate here in the Huntsville market. All right, so the second prediction was based on the number of units sold across the US. And a lot of people, again, with interest rates predicting to be dropped in 2024 and having a really low sales number in 2023, we were going to see a jump, potentially 10 to 15%, somewhere between, I guess last year around 4 million units up to about 4.5 million units or so. NAR even estimate around 4.7 million units. And we also felt like there could be even a jump to 5 million if we got interest rates down in the 5.5% range, which we did think was going to be a stretch. So long story short, whether it be 5 million or 4.5 million, that prediction by NAR and by us was wrong. We are basically flat mid-year. We're on pace to do about the same number of homes sold that we did last year in terms of the overall market. And I say Huntsville, and when I reference overall market, our team is actually up 30% year over year, fortunately. So thank y'all for using and supporting Matt Curtis Real Estate. But in general, the market is flat. And I think that's really even a good sign considering that interest rates have stayed elevated at 7%. And so if interest rates do start to drop by the end of the year, that could push up sales to a seasonally adjusted, maybe 4.25 range. But I think we are going to be in those low 4 million range across the US and just slightly up if we get a rate drop. And if we don't get a rate drop, I think sales are going to continue to stay flat in the Tennessee Valley for 2024. So number 3 was new home construction, new home sales. Builder sentiment was low when we did the predictions last time, but we really felt like with interest rates being predicted to go down, that was going to be a great driver and really a great year for builders, as they would not have to make all the incentive concessions on new builds. And then also just having a lot of good inventory on the ground, a lot of lot inventory available to be able to have a solid 2024. They are having an okay year, but it's not what it could be with interest rates. They are having to cut into their margins with all these rate buy downs and frankly not getting the number of homes sold that they would like to have. So with that number, the builder home sentiment is actually still, that score is below 50. And so once you look at the end of 2024, I think this is going to be a below average year for new construction, which really is a bad thing for our local area and across the US, because if you look at the overall supply in this country, depending on who you look at, we're probably somewhere between 4 to 6 million homes short of where we need to be. And if builders really step up to the plate and build additional homes, it's still going to take at least a decade to really make a dent in that 6 million home deficit. And unfortunately, with builder sentiment going down, building is likely to start decreasing as well across the US and the Tennessee Valley. So that could further our shortages across the US and even here locally. So unfortunately, new construction is not having a good year based on interest rates. And so that is going to be a challenge for not only our area, but really the overall US real estate economy moving forward. All right, so our fourth prediction was based on rent prices. Most consumers, 67% of those, thought that rent prices were going to continue to go up. They actually thought rent prices were going to go up about 5.6%. And I thought we were going to see around 5% appreciation year over year in terms of rent prices. What that did not factor in is all the apartment inventory that has come online in the Huntsville area in 2024. And so that really has not happened. We have had a lot of incentives by apartment complexes, which has trickled over into the single family market as well. And if anything, you've seen rent go flat, but that's probably also factoring in incentives as well. So it is a good time, and if you will, in terms of getting a deal on an apartment. However, the challenge is 100% of that rent goes towards, basically interest. None of that goes back to you, and you're losing out on the American dream where, the American dream is owning a home, and it also provides a lot of financial benefits to homeowners. Homeowners on average have 40 times the net worth of renters because of price appreciation, because of principal pay down, and then all the other advantages such as tax depreciation on the home as well in terms of writing off, whether it be an investment writing off a depreciation or whether it be writing off your interest and property taxes on your taxes. Unfortunately, rent is a buyer's market, if you will, on the rental market, which ultimately it's a long-term liability for renters because they're just not able to build that equity. And we do know even if rents are staying flat this year, what will happen is we're going to continue to have inflation and rent prices will continue to rise year over year in the coming years. And so compare that to a 30-year fixed mortgage where your payment stays fixed over that lifetime other than your insurance and taxes. Rent is staying flat right now. And that is unfortunately luring some people into that trap of being a renter nation and really delaying that American dream for some of the local buyers here in our marketplace. The last prediction was home values, and that really tied in based on the interest rate level. We predicted if rates stayed at 7%, we'd see prices stay flat. What's really happened is rates have stayed at 7%, but prices have gone up to around that 4 to 5% level, kind of matching and mirroring inflation in our local marketplace. If rates hit 8%, we said we're gonna probably see a 5% decrease. Again, rates did go up to 8%, but they've fallen off of that. We also predicted that if rates got down to around 5.5%, which clearly we have not seen that in 2024, we thought we would see double-digit returns. I still think that's going to be the case once you hit rates of 5.5% if we don't fix the supply challenge that we have in this country. So with that prediction, we're on track with 7% rates, flat, really up a little bit. So that's been a good thing for homeowners in the Huntsville, Alabama market. The bonus prediction was that Matt Curtis Real Estate would win the #1 team in Alabama for the 5th straight year. And we are very humbled to be able to announce that we also won that award, and we were able to get that prediction right for you guys for 2024.